Hello, hi, and welcome to another game development stream. So this week we are going to be back in Unreal and making more of the game. I know last stream we was doing stuff in Blender for a drop pod, but this one we're going to go back to Unreal. I'm going to continue that drop pod a little bit tomorrow morning. At the beginning of the stream, and then we'll go from there. But yeah, right. So in terms of the game development stuff, where we left off last time, we had these enemies, and I was trying to get bullet split to work, and I kind of couldn't, because I couldn't figure out how to get it so from where the bullet hit the enemy, it would split out like a bit of an angle. And I haven't been able to look up any fixes for that yet, because I've been a bit busy in the week. So instead of focusing on that perk for today, we're going to bench that for now and leave it as one that we've got to fix and go for something else. And I'll come back to that probably tomorrow after I've had a bit of time today to look into how to actually fix it. I don't really want to spend the whole stream just looking at, I don't want to spend the whole stream looking at things on like a different monitor and just like this being just a blank screen for everyone. And I also want to actually make some more progress rather than bashing my head against the wall. So yeah, bullet pierce for now does. A bullet pierce we can get to work. It's bullet split that doesn't work. So we'll get we can get bullet split pierce to work. So for bullet pierce, it'll just be a case of blueprints. Play character. Where is it? Weapons, weapon component. This whole goddamn mess. And yeah, it's just a branch. If it's got pierce, true, it's going to duplicate everything from up there, which we've still got to do. And I can't make it. So this, God, I bet it's lagging like mad. I don't know why it sometimes does this, because it doesn't always. I've really got to figure that out. But I just haven't had time to. But yeah, we've got the line trace by channel. Goes into split. So it checks if it can be crit, which it does. So you need to get the array elements actor. Or is it component? Target actor is component. Okay, yeah. So you need to plug that into there. Which it just gives components, so give that to component. Damage actor. It's there. Same with I don't want it to split out from the first actor. We're gonna. There's a little fly flying around my room now. that checks if the component is valid. So we don't want that. That goes to that. And what the multi-line trace should do is it will basically do like a loop. You'll do a loop of all these elements, and that will allow it to hopefully, it'll allow it to better, you know, God, what am I trying to say? Sorry, it's really early morning and I'm pretty tired, and I seem to have a bit of a cold again. But yeah, hopefully it will allow it to split through all the enemies, pierce the enemies, and damage all of them along the way. While still taking into account critical hits. Okay. So now it should just be a case of setting that in there. And then at the end, we do this. I think. So we don't want to do that for every bullet. I'll put that there. Plug that in. I think that's good. At the moment, we've got bullet split. As if it can split, but because I just had it as default, but I'm going to change that so the boolean needs to be true for it to split. So if it's got bullet split, it can then split, rather than it just doing it every time, even if you haven't got it, because that's defeats the whole purpose. Huh. Do N. That's a new node I haven't. That might be really good for like the wave thing to increase the If that's true, allow that to happen, and same over here. both of these will go into another branch, asking if bullet split is true. If it is, bam, cool. We have got an error. Why do I trace channel? Because it's executive. Oh, yeah, I don't want to use that one anymore anyway. But I do need to take some things from that, so on trace end. Well, actually, since it's piercing, it's always got to be on trace end, so. Yeah, it's kind of always got to be on the end. Except for the radial damage. That will still be the array element impact point. So that can go there. And that can go there. But the actual array element trace end is what I want to do for everything else here. So that. That. And this. And spawn system at location. I think we feed through muzzle, yeah. What do I put for the rotation? Do I put anything? Don't put anything. Cool. Okay, that should be it. I reckon. So what hopefully lets us do now is once we get pierce, it will allow bullets to pierce through the whole enemy. Let's see if that works. Blueprints. So first things first, I've got to add the perk to be unlocked. Shouldn't be too bad. Just go rename, Control C. Get the player component. I want to because I also want to add an update split for later. Oh, that put it in twice. So up bullet pierce. I was gonna duplicate this. But split pierce. And then we're just gonna duplicate this because I think this will be the best one for it. Update bullet pierce. And then tier level. It's not really too important. So once it's queried and it has the perk, when that's true, get the skill component, set pierce, wrong component, get the weapon component, set pierce to true. There we go. And now back here, if pierce is true when it hits, it will pick between the two. And I'm just going to go to... where is it? I'm just going to go here. Bullet pierce. So you got the one. And we're going to line up a few normal enemies over here where they can't move. So... well, let's put one there. Cool. So it should be, by default, it kind of stops on that, and geez, that's loud. And if we press L, I think it's because their AI isn't activated over here yet because of the way I've changed how they spawned. Give me a sec. Melee. Yeah, that's why. I always forget to do that. Because now they can actually take damage. So now it should split through them. No, it doesn't. Bullet pierce one. And I'm just gonna do a little... make sure it's actually updating the perk. Oh, that's why, because it's not updating the perk. I forgot to connect it here again. I do this a lot. Yeah, it'd help if I actually told it to update the perk when it gets the perk. Alright. I think he's going to try and charge at me. Well, it's changing how it works, kind of. Alright, let's do a... is the debug on? No, that's one problem. For duration. Okay, let's try this again. So that's the line trace. And it hits the first guy, but it's not... ow. It's not doing any damage to the next guy. Why? So why is that? So there's a multi-line trace that all the out hits will go into this. Oh, one thing I want to check, is it getting more than one hit? If I go get the length. So this should be anything above one, pretty much, when it hits more. We go print. Put that in there, put that in there, and put that up there. And see if it's even recognizing that it hits anything else. No. Isn't it literally supposed to be a can pierce thing? Yeah, it returns all hits encountered up to and include. Oh. Ah. That's why. It's going right. Okay. Where's this one? How? Okay. Alright, I think I see how I can do this. So what's happening is for the regular line trace to work, you need to set the trace response to be block. So it does collision and finds the first blocking hit. And I believe for that you need to set it so it blocks. I can change as a quick experiment. Get refrigeration on that. Go to enemy. Get the collision. I think it's on. It'll be on the hitbox. Where is it? Yeah, so at the moment it blocks it. So if I set that to overlap, what happens then? Yeah, so if I set that to overlap, it will go straight through and won't damage it. So for the regular line trace to work, it has to be block. But for the multi-line trace, it has to be, for things to pierce through, it has to overlap. So, oh, I've got a brilliant idea for this. The simplest solution is just to make another damage channel. This one called pierce damage. And this one could be an overlap. And the blocking thing will be anything like... Well, say if the default block. And then, okay. Or maybe default ignore. Nah, because I want it to be able to get hit by... I want it to hit a wall. Yeah, so if I set the default channel to block it... and then I've just got to manually remember to change everything else's hitbox. So great. Edit project setting. Yeah, project settings. And then collision. No, we don't want object. We want trace channel. New trace channel. A pierce. We'll just call this one. And the default response is still to block. Okay. Wait, you can set up presets? This could be good. So if we just go custom enemy, it's gonna have custom enemy hitbox. We want it to have. We could do this, and then we could just slap it on everything later on. So we want it to have no collision. We want we want it to be query only. We don't want this to have like actual collision. And by default, it will ignore everything except damage and pierce. Yeah, it should be good. I haven't got the players to have any projectiles, so they don't need to care about projectiles. But the player will. And then create another one called custom enemy. Custom enemy mesh. Custom enemy body. No, capsule. for the movement. And what's the put for this? Give it enemy. So this one, I think, only want to block these. Because I've got this only blocks the damage. I want it to block that and overlap these. The capture component blocks everything but damage, charge, pierce. Ignores anything damage based, basically. Okay. It is custom enemy hitbox. So I'm going to edit this to overlap pierce. And do they care about projectile? I don't think they do, but they might. Nah, they don't. Just a damage trace. And then custom enemy capsule. Ignores everything but the visibility in camera. Blocks all of these except basically projectile. Cool. I think that's all set up. Anything else? I didn't even know you could set presets for this, like your own presets. I probably should have figured that. That would have saved me a lot of time. Ah well, we live and learn. Visibility camera, everything's set to that except for projectile. Which I think I've done. So for the enemy capsule, everything's set to that except for the projectile, and everything here is, yep, cool. And the hitbox, everything's ignore except for pierce and damage. Cool. And the mesh just has no collision. Yep, that's everything. Cool. Right. So now, of course, I haven't actually applied that just yet. So it should hopefully be a case of if I go here and set the preset to custom enemy hitbox. That's another thing I need to change it so the type is enemy. Object type enemy. Collision enabled. So for the capsule, we want collision enabled. But for the hitbox, we want query. And then enemy accept. I think that should be everything, right? Query only, no physics, and then character mesh is just not character mesh. Capsule is collision enabled. Cool. Yep. And that should be it. and then actually apply it. The best way to tell is see if anything changes when I do this. So if we put this to enemy hitbox, yep, nothing changed. Put this to enemy hitbox, nothing changed, and put this to enemy hitbox. Nothing seemingly changed. Cool. Which means it's working. Which means the collision should still headshot normal. Yep. And if we go L, this should now hopefully pierce. No. Because I haven't changed the weapon component to use a new trace, that's why. Needs to go pierce. Pass save, try this again. Hey, there we go. Oh, he's pissed. Ooh. Right, cool. That works. Brilliant. Now there's one problem I do need to fix. So as you can see here, when you shoot, it just goes as far as it can. Whereas when I turned it down on my end because it's very loud. When I shoot with the Pierce, there's no beam at the end unless it hits something. And way. So the reason for that, it should be using element trace start. But if there's no element, it's not getting... Okay, I see the problem. Well, that's very simple, I think. Okay, the simple answer to that is just a case of... Where does it spawn the beam? Here. Get a branch. Is it a blocking hit? Not there. Array, initial overlap. Think I can use return value. So if I get is blocking hit, go down there to completed, then we don't need to do that, we can just do a select vector again. So we can plug this in here. Actually, before that. It's not that one we want to do, it's the beam end. Which comes from... trace in the channel. The trace end. So if it is a blocking hit, we want it to be a trace end. If it isn't... So pick A if it is. And if it isn't, now if we If I was to drag off this, I don't know if it'll give me the same result. I think it will, so I'm hoping. I have to just check. It might give me a slightly different beam output. Should just be a case of that. So now if I go L, now it's doing neither. Because I plugged it in the wrong one. Supposed to plug it in this one. Okay, let's try it again. Now it's still doing neither. Because it's not plugged in. Let's try that again. I don't know if it's going really where it says it's going. Because I think what's happening is, and this can happen, it's adding these completely random floats every time. So I think what I've got to do is promote to a local variable, we'll go with that. And this will just be spread. Now we'll just go aim end location, endpoint. We'll put that. And if we use this for everything instead of that, so we need 2 of these. So one going down here. And one going up here. That connects into there. Which connects into there. God, this code gets so messy. Yeah, kinda. We do the spaghetti code around here. That goes into the endpoint. That goes into there. And then to clean it up, I can just, rather than calling that goddamn mess, I can just get the local variable. Can't remember which one it goes into though. B. It's B. And that should ensure that it's the same value. Yeah, I think it was a different codeception. It's a bit like that. It's more like Into the fucking spider's web of code. Into the Spider-Verse. Like, there's just so many wires. This is what, like, the back of a server rack can look like. Have you ever seen, like, those pictures online where it's just, like, a complete mess because over time they've never bothered to, like, cleaning out, so they just plug in new stuff without braiding the cables or sorting them out, and it's just a complete and utter rat's nest. Ugh. God. Alright. I'm trying to mute my mic if I'm ever going to, like, cough or sneeze, so if I suddenly, like, stop talking, it's probably because of that. But yeah, Laid Back Chef, very nice to see you in the stream. How you doing? So yeah, we've got the bullet pierce working now. Ta-da! And we've also set up a collision, custom collision on everything. So now I've got a preset rather than having to manually do it every enemy. Which means I can now go back to the boss and change his ones. Because he needs to ignore that. So I can just go, rather than editing all these, I can just go custom enemy hitbox. Bam. It's all sorted. I don't know why he's set to block charge. I guess he's not gonna hit the charge anyway, but custom enemy hitbox. Sphere. That one can stay as is. And then the capsule. Enemy capsule. That's all sorted. Then we want to go to the tower. My ranged enemy. That's not the one. The abyssal tower. She's just currently a sphere. Capture component. I think for this one, it actually is. I think I've actually got to leave that one as its own thing because it acts a bit differently than the others. So, I'll leave that one for now. But yeah. Just want to check, does his charge still stun now that I've messed with some of those? I should do, because it's a trace. And it's not worrying about him hitting something, it's worrying about this trace hitting something in front of him. Just gonna put a wall here and stand in front of him. Hello. Charge. Yeah, he still gets stunned. Cool. Alright. So, that is... No, it won't. Yes, it will. You lie. I changed the hitbox. I didn't change what the trace he does, so... And to be honest, I didn't actually change any of the settings on him. I just set it to a preset so that... I've set up a preset, so now whenever I want to make a new enemy, rather than having to go and cross-reference and get the exact same collision settings, I can just go, bam, it's on. Should make adding anything in the future faster. Same reason I've done the status component, so I can just go, oh, they want to take damage? Now they can. Abyssal tank, abyssal tower, web component. Right, that's another perk in. I've already said, but the bullet split, I haven't got to work yet. I'm going to do that tomorrow. Once I've had a bit of time today to look into it a bit more. If I have the time today, I've got a few things I want to do. I want to get some more soundproofing set up. So far, I've got new curtains. They have helped a lot. I've also got some acoustic cork and a moving blanket to hang and go over my window. Because, again, I tried to record something, but you could just hear all these noises from outside, and it doesn't help that my microphone's really sensitive. So it kind of picks up a lot. I've been trying to mess with that a lot as well. And then, on to top it all off, I've also got to look for a headset because my headset that I was using, the Corsair HS80, I think, really good headset, but it's the charging port on it broke like entirely. It is completely gone. So As in, it's actually like fell off, and you can't plug it in. It's like somewhere inside the headset, there's charging port now, which is great. Because now it means I got to buy a new headset, which is not great, but yeah. So yeah, that's fun. At the moment, I've got like the headset I normally use for my Switch, which works. It's just very. It's not as good. It's functional. It's just, yeah. I'd rather have my other headset back. I'm thinking about changing headsets entirely. I went with a wireless headset, but last time. And to be honest, every time I've got a wireless headset, I've been having so many issues with it. I'm not entirely sure why I got a wireless. I think I got a wireless headset because at the time I was like, "Oh, it'd be so nice to not have a wire." I ended up having to plug that thing in more than most. I swear, most of the time I used it, it was charging. So it's effectively wired anyway. So I'm probably just better off getting a wired headset that I can potentially also plug into like a proper DAC if I need, like a not DAC, audio interface even. So that in the future, if I get a better mic that isn't as sensitive, hopefully, I can just bam plug it in there and hear myself and properly monitor myself, so I'm not yelling down the mic. But yeah, oop. Keep pressing F1 when I do that. So we've got bullet split, bullet pierce. We've got health up, we've got reload, we've got fire, we've got a slow, we've got a stun, explosive slide, we got a dash. Nah, I was thinking of that, but that probably wouldn't be a good idea. Could potentially just. Could have something that pulls everything together. I kind of like the idea of something that's like fire but can spread to other enemies nearby. Oh, I know what we're going to add. Gas. Toxic bullets? Nah. I guess toxic bullets, yeah, why not? Toxic bullets. Toxi shot. Without the C, because it's cool. And what this is going to be... Toxi shot. What this is going to be is it's going to basically, you shoot a bullet, and it has a chance to leave behind a cloud that will last for a set duration that will damage enemies that are inside of it. I think that'd be cool. So we're going to have Toxi shot and Toxi shot. Chance to leave behind a cloud, a toxic cloud that damages enemies inside. Chance to leave behind a toxic cloud that damages enemies inside. when shooting enemies. Increasing, leveling up, additional tiers, increase chance, increase the spawn chance, and duration of the cloud. And we'll go to 5. I don't really want this one procking too much, I guess. We'll go 5. We'll go like so it has a 50% chance of spawning every time you shoot. Balancing will be something that I've got to spend a decent amount of time on, and that will come later. That will come once it's kind of in. It's just tweaking the numbers at that point. That's kind of the idea of what I'm going for. That's the So once I've got like the perks, a decent amount of perks. I'm aiming for 30 at the moment. Can always add more in the future, but for now we're aiming for 30 perks. Once I've got all those in, I want to get the rest of the game feeling right and looking right and actually having a map. And then the last thing will be balancing and polish. Probably that order will probably change. That's probably going to be more like balancing and polish will be a bit of along the way after. It'll probably be map, balance, then visuals and polish. But yeah, though I do want to get some visual stuff done so I can actually put some stuff on like social media and stuff to actually get people aware of the game. Because at the moment, it's very hard to show a lot of this as screenshots because it's also temp work. There's nothing visually interesting to a lot of people who would see it. So yeah, like it's hard to get people excited for a game when it just looks like this. It's like, oh yeah, look at these guys from Mixamo with fat clouds on them. So yeah, I've definitely got to get some visual elements in, so I can start basically getting this game out. Like, not getting this game out there, but I want people to at least know about it a little bit. Like, otherwise it's just gonna launch and no one's gonna play it, except for like maybe you guys in the chat and some of my friends, which are most of you guys in the chat. So yeah, definitely gotta sort that out. Anyway, back to this. So we want to spawn a cloud, and that should very, very should be fairly simple, I think. Because the cloud should just be a case of... Well, it's just a hitbox. It's just a big... Probably a sphere would make sense if it's like a radial effect. So if we go... I guess we'll put in damage. Yeah, I'll make a new thing in here. Blueprint class. Actor. Toxic Cloud. And yeah, it's basically just going to be a blueprint with a big particle effect on it. And so it's just going to be a sphere. Sphere collision. And a particle. Niagara particle system component, and we're just gonna call this your mom. Nah. We're gonna didn't want to do that. Sphere collision And Niagara particle system. Compile that, save that. Is there any good systems I can use for this at the moment? What happens if I use the ghost? Okay, ghost flames will kind of work. Except it's trying to use a model. Because that's what I've told it to do. But I should just be able to very quickly. We're going to go and make a small particle for this. VFX. And we're just going to ghost particles, duplicate this. And rather than ghost flames, it's NS Toxi Cloud. And the difference will be... Ooh. There we go. Get that camera there. So the difference would be on the emitter spawn... No, it's emitter state. Get rid of this. So it is just kind of... That's more like a flame. We want this to particle spawn, shape location, sphere. There we go. We put this to 200 for now. Probably increase the spawn rate. What's the spawn rate? It's 1,000. Initialize particle, shape location, sphere distribution, direct. Whoa, okay, that's cool. Didn't know you could do that. I kind of like that effect. And uniform. So uniform does that kind of effect, but I actually I kind of like that effect. That's cool. It's not really what we need for this. Oh, I've got an idea. We get 2 of these. And then on the shape location for this one, we can do random. I like that. I like that a lot. Can probably lower the spawn rate of this because there's a lot of unnecessary particles in that. We go 500. Yeah, so 500 for that, and then we can up this by like a bit. Go about 2,000. Alright, and then we just want to change the colour. So at the moment it's purple, purple, purple. But what we want to do is we want to change that to like a green. And then a slightly lighter green. And then another lighter green. Oh. Kind of like that. Yeah, I think that looks a bit better. And then we'll do the same for this one. We get rid of that scale color. And then duplicate this over there. very flickery. I'm going to need to change how to fire. That's a very temporary particle, but I kind of like the look of it. So now we can just see what this looks like in the world. I like it. Might be a bit dense, but also again, not sure on performance. So that'll be a thing I'm gonna have to optimize later. And now we can go back to Toxic Cloud, and rather than using Ghost Flames, use Toxic Cloud and set the sphere. We'll set. How big is that cloud? Yeah, that'd be good against a group of enemies. Might make it a little bit bigger, actually. Might make it 300. I reckon 300 will be a good spot. 300. 300. The problem is there is like half of this. So when it's spawning in, it's getting like... It's going around in a sphere, right? But only this half is going to be visible. All this is wasted, unfortunately. Don't know. Oh, hang on. So if I go 0 on that, what's that do? Ooh. .5. There we go. That's what I want. Perfect. We are probably going to want some stuff coming from the bottom in between. Oh, there we go. I like that. That's good. I could probably increase the size of the particles as well a bit. Velocity, shape, location, particle state. Because they start pretty small. Where is that? Is that initialize or? So if I set this like to 100, like 60 and 40. And then maybe reduce how many there are a bit. 1.1500. What if I go like, let's go 500, see what that looks like. 1,000. Yeah, we'll go like 1,000. Can I get like another one of these going around like a different direction? Because actually, I really like that effect. So we go spawn rate, initialize particle, shape location. Because it went direct. Oh. So if I put this like 0.5. And then put that to age. Go loop age as well. I'm having way too. I'm having so much fun with this. So if I get rid of the U position, just put that to direct. So it's like, because this was just 0.5. Yeah, because I only do like halfway over. Looped age. I reckon that looks good. We'll go with that. So now we whack this and the world looks like this. Nope, it looks like this. Mind you, because we don't see it come from the bottom, it looks a bit old. So maybe... Or what if rather than doing V position as looped age, what happens if I just set that? Put that down to 0.5 again. 0.5, not 0.6. And 0.5 on the radius. There we go. I like that effect. I like that a lot. Cool. Compile, save. Yeah, then that's a cool effect. Cool, that's the cloud. So we got the we got a cloud in. Don't know how optimized that is, but hey ho, here we go. And we're gonna set the radius of this to 300 to match it. Not 3,000. Jesus. There we go. And basically, what we want to do is we want to have this cloud here, and then it's going to run a timer every. How often should it? Probably every 0.5 seconds. So, event begin play. We're going to set 2 timers. So, set timer by event. And same for this one, set timer by event. That and that. And we've got 2 custom events coming out of this. And this one will be the kill timer. And that will be when this gets removed. And this one will be damage. Right, I forgot you got to tell it to go custom event. Then you go damage. Probably don't want to call it that because it's going to be a pain to reference. And my headset just turned off. Thank you, headsets. Because it hasn't heard anything in a while. So we're going to go damage. We're going to go attack enemy. Attack players. Damage inside. We'll call it. There we go. Now by default, let's say this lasts. Let's go for like 5 seconds. We'll go 5 seconds. And you get it to like last up to 10 if you get to level 5. And every 0.2 seconds, it's going to do like a little bit of damage to things inside that radius. We've got a kill timer. Which, when 5 seconds is up, destroy actor self. It's very simple. And then I'm holding S by accident when I was clicking. So we want to set time by event. Damage inside. Ooh. Right. So when an actor overlaps, there needs to be something that happens when it starts the overlap and when the actor leaves the overlap. Which is luckily something we can do. So if we just go very simply to the sphere and get on component, so we've got on component and end overlap. On actor end overlap and on actor begin overlap. The easiest way to damage everything inside of it at the same time is to simply call an array. So we just go, if we just make an array of actors that we want to damage. So currently inside actors. And this will also prevent the actor from being in there twice. Should do. Or getting hit twice when they shouldn't be. We want to basically make this get array. We're using a lot of arrays in this project. Arrays are great. Array, compile, save. Get set currently inside. So when the actor, we don't want to set, we want to add. So we want to get this, add them. And when they leave, we don't want to add, we want to remove them. If I could spell remove item. That and there, that and there. The only other thing we want to do is we want to get this and has tag. Now, this shouldn't matter anyway because the hit. Well, no, it won't matter because I'm going to set the collision, so yeah, we don't need to worry about that. Okay, event by timer, and this one's going to be a looping timer, so this will damage. This will happen all the time, and it's just going to be a simple case of damage. Wherever it is, apply damage. Now, this is where it's going to get a bit more finicky, because by default, we've got damage inside applies damage. We want it to damage the actor, and that's fine, because we can just, for that, we just do... To damage everything inside, we get currently inside, we do a loop, a for each loop, where in the loop body we get the array element, we apply it to that, and we plug that in there, and that's that. That'll go through and that'll damage everything. Now for the base damage, we want to set this. We'll put this as a variable in here, and this will be Toxi Cloud damage. Doesn't need to be a very array, that wouldn't even make sense. Toxic Cloud damage. Now, I want this to potentially be able to scale based off the player's damage. So, for that, we've also got to do a bit of stuff over here. We need to get a reference to the player, which we kind of need to do anyway. So, we're also going to want to cast to first person character. We're going to want to get player character, and we're going to want to create a reference. Player reference. The reason we're doing this is so we can access stuff from the player, which we need to do anyway for the damage causer, because the event instigator is, we need the controller, and the actor that was actually responsible for causing damage, that would technically be this. So, but I think because of how I set this up, it needs to be the player actually. Do I use damage causer in anything? Yeah, I always use that as a player reference. So, damage caused has always got to be the player. No, technically shouldn't be. So we get the player reference. Plug that into damage causer. Get controller. Plug that into the events instigator. For the base damage, what we're going to do is we're going to get the get status component, get damage, and by default, this is like 5. So I want this to do like a fraction of that, basically. So we're going to divide this by... how much should we divide it by? Get the old calculator. So let's say we do 5 damage. If we divide that by 10, we do 0.5. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide it by anything we do by 10. So if we do like 20, divide by 10, we do like 2. And the reason I'm doing it like this is so that it can scale with the player's damage as they get more powerful. So this doesn't become obsolete. Now, the problem is we don't want this to actually... Because this is one of the problems. At the moment, we've got this set up. So it goes any damage... it receives the damage, spawns the emitter, which is them getting the hit thing, checks if they're dead. Then it will cast to the player character and trigger a player effect. But I actually don't want it to trigger a player effect on this one. And the reason for that is because it's so rapid that it will just proc everything pretty much. It's got such a rapid tick. It's the same reason why I handle fire damage. I handle the fire damage currently inside the actual stats component itself. So it triggers from the player effect, but then it will just stay in the stats component. It won't come back out and do player damage again. And the reason for that is so that it doesn't constantly proc everything, because again, it's a bit too rapid to let it proc any other effects, just because it will be a bit mad if you do. If I go to the stats component, which is first person blueprints, play character stats component. So yeah, at the moment, all of the stuff for a fire effect is handled here. And again, the reason for that is so that it doesn't... It will do the damage directly inside of here, so that it doesn't melt. So that hitting fire isn't just like a guaranteed kill, because again, the sheer amount of hits would be mad. And the reason this is a bit of a problem is because unlike fire, this is a physical object in the world that will damage things inside it, rather than being like oh, you're hit and now you're set on fire and this will last for X amount of time. This is like this is like a thing that we're putting down. Like, this will be in the world and anything that's inside this will get hurt. So we've got to change that a little bit. And for that, we're gonna need to change a bit on how it handles this interaction here. Because again, at the moment, what it's doing is it's receiving any damage. It's getting the damage type. And then it's going like, oh, is it hit by the player? So we've got damage, which is a point. We've got damage type, which is an object reference, but we can't... I don't think we can do anything. Switch. Set. Because we got damage, event damage. So we've got 3 kind of damage. Report a damage event, but that's not what we want. We got event damage. Nope, not what we want either. So can we do anything with this? Got damage actor, event damage, instigator, and we want to set this to like a different damage type. Or we could just do normal damage. We'll make a new damage type. Damage. So we've got normal damage, which is just very bog standard damage. Just interaction, I think? Gameplay? Nope. Where even is it? That's good. We're just going to duplicate this. Normal damage. We just call it toxic damage. Damage impulse, don't want that. Destructible, yada 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 yada. Cool. Normal damage. And all we want it to really do is, so we should put like toxic damage. Grab this. For God's sake. Okay, grab this. Move that down there. Grab this bit there. There we go. We've got a bit more room to work with. So it receives damage. It spawns your emitter. And then it does a branch check if they're dead. And then it casts to the first person character. I want this to change based on the damage, but what kind of annoys me, when you send the damage, you're sending it as a class, right? And then I think you could do switch on class. Switch on damage. No. But what we're doing is we're doing apply damage. I'm saying the word damage so much it's getting weird. So event damage. Ideally we do something with this. Switch. Cast to switch actor? Nope. Not like damage cause of this. Has damage. Get damage fall off. Get caused by world. Get damaged. Can I just get... The only thing I can do is I can cast 2 toxic damage. and get a ref, but I don't know what that will do for me. Get type. Damage type. Nope. Cast to damage. Get class. Wonder if this will work. Just want to check. So if we get, I don't need this receive thing because that what I was testing when that works. So if I go get damage, cast failed, print. This is just to see if this will work as a way of identifying the type of damage I'm trying to do. So we do print here. No, we don't want that. So if it can't go, we're gonna put uno. And if it can go, we're going to print the type of class it is. Compile, save, go back here, play. Player damage C. Alright. As for the Toxic Cloud, which I don't even know if it works yet, we're just going to... And content, damage, get that. We're just going to drop him into it. And the reason we're doing that rather than just putting him in there is because it with overlaps, if they're already inside of it, it won't count half the time. It's very finicky. That might also affect if it will work if it's spawned on top, but I'm not sure. I think if it's spawned on top, it will count as overlapping. Whereas if it's not, if it's just like there, it can be very, very finicky with it. Also, I gotta check what time. Where is it? Okay, sorry about this. Thanks. Right. So web component, we got that. We got Toxi Cloud. They're gonna drop in. They're gonna hit by this. They're gonna die. It's gonna be great. And that should be that. Web component enemy Toxic Cloud perk data table. Get rid of half of this. So what I want to check is this should have the yeah, it's got toxic damage. I want to check if this will apply the damage to it. So well, that's not what you're supposed to do at all. What? I didn't set this collision up, did I? Right, yeah, because the preset, even though you tell to overlap everything, this preset, because these are custom, it won't overlap everything. Okay. Now it should overlap everything. In fact, we want it to ignore everything but enemy. Pretty much. Let's try this again. Toxic damage C. So that is working. Alright. So we can get the class of damage. And can we switch? So now that we've got the type of damage, what's this note? Damage type is already damage type. You don't need to. Oh, really? Okay. Okay, so we can get that. Get the class. Just to confirm it is going to work rather than lie. Yep, okay, that does work. Cool. So can we do anything with that? Damage class. I just want to switch on it. Switch. Equals. Okay, we can kind of. Okay, we can do something. Switch on class. So what we can potentially do is rather than cast a player here. I mind you, we need to cast the player anyway. But rather than doing that to decide if we do player damage or not, we can leave all that there because we need that. That's fine. But what we want to do is we want to get the class, do a branch, and I think to make it simple, we just want to get equal. So if this is player damage, if it is player damage, it will do this. If it's anything else, it will just do damage. And I think that... Okay, we just want to get the stats component. Should we just get from this one here? Bang, bosh, bush. Right, so this should still work. Yep. Very nice. I just want to actually, just to check if that is doing the right thing, we can do a print on the end of this. So we're just going to put in normal here. Yeah, so that's working for that. It's doing a bunch of normal damage. And for this, it's not doing normal. It's doing player damage. Player. I might need to lower that tick rate, actually. That's quite rapid. Yeah, cool. That works. Nice. Let's go. Oh, I can't get up now. Right. Right. Sorry about that. Got some messages. Right. And it's kind of it. Oh, now we just need to make it spawn in on the player effect. So now that the toxic cloud is working as intended, I shouldn't get damaged by it. Nope, it's just the enemy. The only thing I need to check is if the enemy. So if I drag this dude and this dude over here, lower that down, and then put this guy. The only thing I need to check now is when the enemy leaves, do they stop getting damaged? Because if not, that's going to be a problem as well. Yes, they do. Nice. Very nice. Yeah. That's kind of it. For that effect, I think. Toxic Cloud's working. We've got it so that if anything other than player damage goes through, it will not do the player effect, which is great. It still feeds through the player as damage causer anyway, but which I might change in the future. But yeah. Okay. So now the next thing is to make the chance of it spawning happen, which is going to happen in the player damage inside of this big bad boy. And I think for it we're gonna use fire chance as a base because I think that's kind of the closest. Yeah, I'd say fire chance is the closest to where we want it to be as is here. So we're going to duplicate fire chance. I'm going to call this. I always forget it does that. So we have to go here, get fire chance, duplicate this, call this. Toxi shot. Toxi chance, we'll just call it. We can plug that in the end here. And this will be a case of query the perk, which I haven't got saved as the name, so I need to get the name. Crap. Be right back. Alright, I'm back. Sorry about that. Just really needed to go to the toilet. So, where were we? Right, yeah. So making the actual thing spawn. So we go to player damage, and we need to get the name. First person. Input, no, blueprints. Testing? Might be testing. First person. Blueprints. First person character. Actually, yeah. Jesus, can I stop getting notifications? Blueprints. Play character, there we are. So I just completely forgot where I put everything. It's not even there, it's it's a skill system. Toxic shot. Wanna press F2 to get that. Control C to get the name. The reason we want to do that is because it needs to be the exact same for this to work. So it's going to query the perk. It's going to be a 10% to a 50% chance. And if it does, rather than get the enemy status component, we're just going to get... Do I not have the enemy fed through? Hang on. Trigger player effect. So in here we've got stats component, damage type, enemy controller, player, and the type. We don't actually have the enemy location. Okay. Can I get that from the enemy controller? Get. So if I get controller ref, get enemy, get actor location. I might be able to. But it might just be easier to do this. So on trigger player effect, we're also going to want to feed in just an actor reference. And this will just be enemy actor. And now we can use this for things like... So we can set this. Set actor. We want to promote this to a variable. Should be a local variable. Enemy actor ref. Not G. Jesus. I keep fat fingering everything on my keyboard. Enemy actor ref. I'll get this, plug this into just before we start the things. And the reason I haven't done this before is because none of these, all these have been like effects that just kind of activate either instantly or on the, without needing like anything spawning on the enemy. This is like the first one that needs this, so. We'll go into Toxi Chance. I need to close some of these, man. Stunning shot. So into Toxic Chance, we've got Toxic Shot, and then what it's going to do is going to get the we're going to get the enemy actor ref, and we're going to get location. And simply spawn actor. Can we not spawn actors from here? Ah, don't tell me we can't spawn actors inside here, man. I don't think we can. Really? Can I do it outside in the main bird if I go to trigger player effect? Can you spawn? So what I should be able to see is like spawn actor from class, but I don't think I can do it here. Let me copy and paste that, see if it works. Could not be. Yeah, it can't. Okay, so that doesn't work in here. I don't think it will work in a function, maybe? I mean, having said that, don't we use it in the spawners in a function? Enemy melee. So what can we do about that? I think the easiest thing to do is to feed it back to the actor and tell them to run a command where and just have a spawn. I have an interface command. Interface commands don't work though, because that's what this is. So yeah, can we not spawn actors really? Spawn actor. Or if I just go actor. Oh, I can cast it to a task. Oh, that might work. Hang on. So, spawn actor. So for now, I'm just going to whack it in. I want this to happen every time, just to test this. So I'm just going to put it in the overall trigger player effect before we do this here. So let's go spawn actor. Cast a gameplay task spawn actor. No, we need an object for that. But if we do spawn actor from class, and we can do Toxi Cloud. I don't know if this will work. I don't think this will work at all, but spawn actor. No. Nah, that's not gonna work at all. Right. Can I do it from inside the status component? Status component. Because we have a character ref. So can I spawn an actor in here? Spawn. Yes, I can. Okay, we're doing this in a roundabout way. This is going to sound very dumb. So what we're going to do is we're going to basically feed for a message in here. So we're going to put a message in here which is called spawn Toxi Cloud. Spawn. We're going to go custom event. And this will be called spawn Toxi Cloud. Spawn Toxi Cloud. Okay. And it's very simply just a case of spawn actor from class. We're going to split this. So the location will be the actor character ref location. Get actor location. The scale will be 1, and the rotation, I think we can just leave that at 0. That should be fine. We want to do Toxic Cloud. And then we just want to get the enemy stats component. Spawn. Toxic Cloud. Just plug it in here for now, so we could just so we can test if it works or not. Basically, we just want to make sure. I'm a bit far. I'm way too far away from my mic. I've just been realizing. Just want to make sure that this works. Pretty much, we just want to get it in. So when I shoot, nice. Right, yeah, it doesn't spawn at their character's feet, it spawns at their center. In that case, we actually do want that particle effect to go in the sphere then. Unless we use something else for it. Now we're just gonna... Yeah, we'll just make it a sphere. Unless... I can always sort that out later, but for now. Not the Niagara system. Toxic Cloud. We want this one here to be 1. Let's put it to 2. Whoa. Let's put it 3. 0.2. That's kind of, I like how you can do it. This the Niagara particle effect. It's got some really cool stuff you can do with it. But yeah, so that seemingly works. Okay. So now what we need to do is we just need to, rather than spawning it every time, spawn it on a chance. Which will just be, rather than start fire effect, it will just be spawn Toxi Cloud. Which just feed into all of these. Very nice. Very nice. God, it makes me want to watch the bottom gear video again. Don't need that. I'm going to leave the ref in anyway. Actually, there's no point, because the thing I think I've just thought about adding in after this also requires the actor location, which we also don't have, which we also can't. We also require spawning something in. I'm thinking of like adding in. I've already got it so bullets explode, but I'm thinking of adding in like a bomb drop when you hit enemies. But for that, we need to have something that isn't like this. So we don't actually need the actor ref anymore. Get rid of that. Plug that in there. Go back to the damage effect interface, and I can actually remove that. Compile that. Save that. Just needs recompiling. Okay, that should be good. Toxi chance. Once that's done, it goes to damage taken. On Toxi shot, depending on level, goes over here. Spawn Toxi Cloud. Go to the output and close half of this because I don't need all this. Sorry about that. So what we want to do is we want to get content, first person, and now all we need to do is add the ability for the player to get the perk. Play character, play character. It'll be the same as updating Electro Shot, really. So duplicate, update, Toxi Shot, update. Haven't got the name again. The stream will be ending in about 10 minutes. I know it's getting earlier and earlier, and I'm getting on later and later. I know it's not great. I'm going to try and be on at the right time to 8:30 tomorrow, rather than 20 to 9. I was having a few issues with audio stuff. That's kind of why I was on late, and also because I got to play. No worries, thanks. It's like I should be able to stay on to about like 11:30 tomorrow before I need to get going, so should be all good. You should get a lot of stuff done. I mean, today we got a decent amount done. Especially consider we've got a nice particle effect in, which is going to need to be replaced later, but for now it looks quite nice. We don't want to set max lightning chain. I think that's literally all we need. Oh, this is even one I need to. What am I doing? I don't even need to update this. I don't even need to do this because it gets procced. Delete that. Because this is the exact same as like a fire shot, where it doesn't actually need to be updated. It just needs to. Because when it gets updated, it will. Is it going to come back? Oh, there it is. When it gets updated, it ought because it procs off every time you shoot, so it doesn't need that. Print string head wall. Actually, I tell a lie. We do need to update it. Because when we spawn it in, we need to change the level of. We need to change the duration of it. Right, yeah, I forgot about that. Because I said it would additional tiers not only increase the chance, it also increases the duration. Right. Never mind. So we do need to. In that case, it would probably be similar to. Make it similar to Vamp. It's very similar to Vamp bullets. Where is that? There it is. Update Toxi Shop. That can go in there. Toxi Shop's there. So we get the tier level. Rather than setting Vamp level, we're just going to add in a new float here called Toxi Cloud duration. Set that as a float. Compile that. By default, that is 5 seconds. So it's gonna see if it's a success. Branch if it's true. And then if this is greater than 1 when it's checked, it's gonna increment. It's gonna get this. I don't know if you can do increment on. Because, yeah, that adds. Oh, no, that's fine. Yeah, increment adds 1. That's what we want. Cool. Yep, if it is higher, it's gonna. So if it's there, it's gonna check it if A is greater. If it's greater than 1, if it is, it's gonna increase it by 1. So when it's tier 1, it'll be 5. When it's tier 2, it'll be 6, then 7, then 8, then 9, then 10. 5, 4, 3. No wait, no. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I only go up to. That'll go to 9 seconds. In that case, we want its default to be 6 so we can get up to a max of 10, right? Yeah. So start at 6 seconds. And then you can each time will increase it. So it will then go up to 5. No, then go to 7, 8. So 6. God, I'm getting myself confused. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yep. Cool. It's either that or we start at 5 and we give it 6 tiers, which we can do. Yeah, sure, we'll do that instead. So 6 tiers. That makes more sense to me. And then that starts at 5. Because the first one just buys it, and then after that it increases. And then we need to go to update perks. Add in update Toxi shop. Toxi shop. There we go. There we go. Power that. Save that. Very quickly check this just so we can test if it works. So now, if I give myself max level of it, ooh, that's not what I want. So L. I've managed to turn off all debug messages. Somehow. I've managed that. What's even the key for that? Actually, how have I managed that? Because now none of the... Oh, God. Hang on. Debug message. Debug print screen. Toggle. Nope. Debug disabling print string. I might have to restart the editor. Great. Alright. Be right back on that part. I didn't even know that's a thing you could do, is disable. Have I never fat fingered that key before? Well, new time for everything, I suppose. Are they gonna work now, hopefully? Okay, there we go, they're back. Hooray. So we want to max level it. And because it's only a 50% chance, I just got really unlucky, I think. Or is it because I actually forgot to change the name of the damage that the thing it checks? It's set to Toxi Shot. Is that got a space? Yes, it has. Okay, that's why. Is that also the same for... Hang on a minute. First person blueprints. Player character. Player character. Hasn't got a space. Hasn't got a space. Alright, it's just that one. Cool. Okay, now it's just not dealing damage there. Okay, why is that doing that? So it's doing this now. Spawns Toxi Cloud. And it goes back here. Which then should be leading it right back into... It's only when I have max level. What happens at... Oh, it's because I haven't got tier 6. So 10%. Guess we'll make it go up to 60. Maybe I'll increase it so it can go up to like way further. But 60... Yeah, that's why. It's because it's not even... Got you. Computers are great. They do exactly what they're told. It's just we forget to tell them to do things. And then we go, why aren't you working? When it's like something we forgot most of the time. There we go. And that'll last quite a while. Actually, no, I haven't actually changed the... That's the last thing I've got to do, is on the cloud itself, we need to... Can I change the thumbnail of this? How do I... I know there's a way you can do it. Edit. Nope. Is there a way you can do it? Class settings? Nope. That's not important. So Toxi Cloud. In this, we've got the event graph. And when we... So before these timers start, rather than doing this after, we need to do it before. Which arguably makes more sense since we're setting literally everything. So cast... So when they spawn, they're going to cast as a player character. They're going to get the Toxi Cloud damage. And they're also going to get Toxi Cloud duration. And that's just going to plug straight into how long it will last for. And there we go. So that should last a lot longer now. Yes. Actually, might just kill him. Oh, yeah, it did. Nice. It's still going. And there it goes. I think one thing I want to do, one thing I will change later on, is rather than it having the particle effects just disappear with it, I might make it so there's a fade out on the particle effect. Not entirely sure how to do that, but... That's all good. That's all working. So that'll probably be where I've got to leave it there because I've got to go. But yeah, this episode or this stream or whatever you want to call these, we have got a nice particle effect in with this. I think that's very decent looking. It's not the best looking, but I think it looks quite nice. We have got. We've made it so you can get a bullet pierce perk, which will pierce through enemies. And we've also made it so that hitting an enemy can spawn in a cloud. In the next stream, I'm going to mess a little bit with that drop pod I made last week. And then I'm going to also make it so that when you shoot an enemy with a... There'll be a chance that it will drop a grenade. Or something similar, like a bomb or a grenade, or something similar to that. It'll drop an explosive, which will roll around a tiny bit and then explode. And I think that'd be very fun to make. So basically it's going to like go wee, bang. I reckon that'd be good. So yeah. That will be the end of this episode stream. See you all tomorrow. Goodbye.